Are you ready to listen to a podcast?
Here comes the Playhouse Podcast, thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices.
Find, subscribe, and listen.
Get out with LPP. Can you help me? Get out with LPP. Can you help me? Get out with LPP. Can you help me? Get out with LPP. Everybody!
All right, so you always feel free to, you should feel free to hit us up with an issue that's going on in your life that you want to toss out to the audience. We call it OPP. It's other people's problems. Got this call yesterday at about this time from, we're just going to call her Miss Dog Lover. She doesn't want her name out there. And I
That
get
work
it.
right now.
So when she started talking about this, I wasn't following that closely until it got to the point where, oh my God, there was death. And then I really paid attention because I was like, this is weird. So this is how it all went down. And I want you to hear what she has to say and then give us your thoughts with some OPP.
So a couple months ago, I bought a dog. It was a very expensive dog, so I made payments to hold the dog and to pay for it.
Wait, you put the dog on layaway?
I wanted to hold it so she wouldn't give it to somebody else or sell it to somebody else, not layaway.
Okay.
Yeah.
I put a hold on getting a dog that I wanted, that I fell in love with when I met it. So anyhow.
What kind of dog?
Pomeranian Shih Tzu.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Cutest dog. So anyhow, 3 weeks ago, my dog died unexpectedly at the vet when I took him in for an ER visit due to a heart defect it was born with.
Yeah.
And when I bought the dog, it didn't have a vet check, which I bought it from a breeder who's been breeding dogs for apparently 15 years. So I made the mistake of not having them vet check it before I paid all this money for this dog.
Okay.
And when I reached out to him after the dog died, I was trying to get them to either give me a refund for a dog with a defect or pay my vet bills, or at least do something so I can financially be okay. Because I'm not in a situation where, I had to make a decision whether paying my bills or paying for my for my dog, basically.
Sure.
Yeah.
So now I'm in this place where I talked to a breeder friend, and she told me to go about it by calling the Minnesota State Board of Animal Health or calling the city on her because she has 10 dogs in city limits, and the limit's 3.
Yeah.
I don't want to be vicious, but now she's not responding to my messages. So
Okay.
I want to play hardball a little bit because she's ignoring me.
This is a good OPP situation, and I'm glad you
That's
called with
what I
this
thought.
because I think a lot of people are going to be able to give an opinion here. And I agree. I think being vindictive and saying,
That's not what
calling
I'm
and
trying to
ratting them
do.
out for having 10 dogs is your last resort. I think this
That's
can be...
exactly why I want to make it that.
Yeah, this can be probably handled a little more civilly, but obviously neither Kat or I will have that
That's my
answer.
goal.
So-
Have you tried to send that message to her? Listen, I'm
Oh, I
one
sent
step
her
away.
messages. I gave her the option to pay me before I went to this level because I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that person. But I need my money back because I'm in a position where I had to pay my vet bill versus my water bill.
Yeah.
I need that money to pay for my life. I
Okay.
spent too much money in the last 2 months on a dog that died right away.
Is it too much for us to try to ring this woman?
Well, I don't want my mom to know what I paid for the dog, and I don't think she listens to this radio station anyhow because it's not her type of music. But
Yeah.
I don't want her to know how much I actually spent on a dog I can't afford.
Well, let's not get into the specifics. Let's just see what our listeners think about this and
throw
see
the
what they
scenario
think.
out there and see what they can come up with because I don't want to go down the road where I call her out and she gets fined for it. I'd rather just get my money and not cause her any more financial hardship.
Okay, and so that was kind of the end of the conversation. I have an opinion. I want to get yours first, though, real quick. I have a thought on this, and I don't think it's going to be a popular one. But what would you guys do if you were her right now? You invested all this money, the dog died, and now nobody will give you any retribution.
It happens so often that you do put yourself in that position and somebody will just ghost you. And that's not a way to do business. If this woman has ran a reputable breeding business for 15 years, she says, she should have her ducks in a row. So who knows?
How do you handle something like this?
I actually know the situation personally from the person who owns the dog.
Okay.
And I had told her originally, you really need to take it back to the breeder. They need to either refund you the vet costs or they need to give you a new dog. Because if you're buying from a breeder, you're expecting it to have a health guarantee. And she was like, oh, yeah, they're going to work with me. And now it sounds like they're not.
Yeah.
So I guess my thing is well, that's really shady on their part. If they have been breeding, you're probably not the first person that they're, screwing over, for lack of better words. And it was a horrible situation. I mean, like, she is taking the puppy to the vet. Everything is going great. And all of a sudden, he's just super, super ill and ends up passing away very quickly. That's very heartbreaking for somebody who puts all that love and emotion into something that they spent the money on to get a quality thing. You know, and I'm not saying, you know, that always works out. But if you're breeding dogs that have these congenital problems, that's not okay, and that means it's going to happen to someone else.
So, you've been with her through this journey. How many times has she tried to reach out to this breeder? Do you know? Like
that, I don't personally know that. I have told her that I will do it for her.
Oh,
because I am livid. Because if you knew this girl, she has this huge heart. She's very trusting and loving of a person.
Yeah.
And this dog is very important to her. You know, for a lot of us, our dogs are our children, so to speak. And when you put money in them to begin with, you really expect to get a dog that's going to live with you for many years.
Yep.
Not, die on you as a puppy in this horrible experience.
What's the next best move here? I mean, Jake had called earlier. He said small claims court. I mean, what do you do?
I don't know if I would do that, but I definitely think that I would find out if she is a licensed breeder. If she is a licensed breeder, I'd be contacted. I mean, I'm sure they have people. You know, if you're licensed, you have to meet some sort of requirements. Yeah. So I that's what I'm going to do, actually. I'm going to message her after this phone call, and I'm going to say, we're going to figure out what we need to do. Like, we need to warn other people at the very least. If she's not willing to work with you, then, it may not be the most mature thing, but I would put that person on blast on social media or even like this, because this is ridiculous that it'll happen to other people.
Will you circle back with us when you get any kind of resolution or an update and let us know how this goes?
Yeah, one of us will definitely do that.
Perfect.
I mean, I know that it's easy for people to say, well, dogs are expensive and things happen and breeders don't know that. But if you are charging money for a dog that you are breeding, then it should have had a vet check. It should have had these heart defects and things of this nature checked out before you're selling it to somebody who doesn't know those things.
I agree.
Good looking out. Hey, thanks, Bethany. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Take care. I got time for one more call real quick. How's Janelle doing today?
Hey, good morning, you guys. I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. We've heard a lot about this so far, and I want to get your thoughts on this. How would you handle it?
I'm going to have an unpopular opinion here.
Okay.
Because I know we're talking about something that is meant to be cherished and loved. I think it boils down to, what does your contract say? Plain and simple.
Well,
if you are
when you're talking about money, it always does, yeah.
It does, but if you're buying from a reputable breeder, not just Joe Schmo down the street, but an actual breeder, they've got all their ducks in a row. They've got contracts in place, because you start talking about, studying and breeding on your own. That's what a legit breeder has in place.
Then why wouldn't you answer these messages? If you're a legit breeder and you have all of your ducks in a row, and you can say, listen, fine, bring me to court. I have paperwork to blow this case out of the water. Why wouldn't she answer?
Well, the question is she a legit, reputable breeder?
Right.
Did the buyer do her due diligence? Did she do her research? Did she check the reviews? Also, a breeder themselves, they have them checked by the vet.
And they're insured. And so, right? And so I think
I feel like this buyer, I don't think she did her background work that she needed to do.
She admitted that.
Like I said, unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
But again, it boils down to, what does the contract say? Because those contracts are laid out.
Yeah, no, she admitted that she bought the dog and she just trusted this woman. So she admitted that she didn't say, okay, let's look into this paperwork. You brought this dog in for a well check, right?
Janelle, safe to assume you work in a world of contracts and fine print?
I work in a dental office, so not exactly. It just, if you're buying a used car, I know that this is not a used car. This is an animal. But if you're buying a used car, are you trusting Joe Schmo, or are you taking it to the shop you trust?
A lot of us trust Joe Schmo, though. You'll buy a car off Facebook Marketplace because you have a small attachment to that car, and you have a bigger attachment to that cute puppy. So this is where it gets really tough. But I think I have to agree with you. You got to look at the contract, and what do they say? Buyer beware, right?
Yes. And I agree with Jake. I would do small claims court personally. Like if she feels like she's got a legit reason to go. And Kat, you were asking about one of you were asking about the limit. I think it's per state. Judge Judy is typically 5,000 because that's what it is. But it also, if you watch her, if your state is less than 5, she will actually stay due to your state's maximum.
Yeah.
Get out with LPP. Can you help me? Get out with LPP. Can you help me? Get out with LPP. Can you help me? Get out with LPP. Everybody!
I think we're calling her Mrs. Dog Lover, but she came to us yesterday and had an issue with a dog breeder in town who evidently has been breeding dogs, selling dogs for 15 years, and sold her, I guess, for lack of better words, I hate to say this because it was a living being, but a lemon of a dog. And so she spent a lot of money paying for this dog, and just to find out that it had a heart defect and passed away. And she had to make the choice of like, I don't have enough money. I have to either pay vet bills or I have to pay my rent. And so she had to make a choice there. Trying to get a hold of this breeder, has not had any of her messages returned. She's like, I don't want to get vindictive. I don't want to get evil, but like, I need my money back, or I need an explanation of why I was sold the dog with an issue. Which, could they have caught the issue? Maybe not.
Maybe not. I don't know. Jake, how are you this morning?
Good.
I appreciate you checking in. What do you think about this? How would you handle this? I know you don't want to get dirty and you don't want to, blow this person up on the internet and everything like that. How would you handle it?
Well, I mean, first of all, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, why get a dog that you can't afford to begin with?
Oh.
No, the thing is, she could afford it, but you don't expect for these massive vet bills down the line.
Sure.
So that's what she couldn't
Yeah, I guess
afford.
it's like, but you can afford the house, but then if you find out after you buy it, the foundation is crap and it's going to cost you $50,000 to fix it, you can't afford that.
Right. So
Yeah. I guess I'm sorry that her dog died. I mean, that's horrible. I have a Shih Tzu myself.
yeah.
But small claims court, that's the route I would go.
I mean,
Well,
they'll get a hold of this woman. I mean, once you get people involved, like the right people, then she'll probably listen up. But if you're just sending little Facebook messages like, you better give me my money, I feel like if you're going to be serious about it, get people involved.
Do you know, Jake, off the top of your head, what's the limit to small claims court? Because I think it can only be like a certain level that
Is it
you're trying.
5,000?
Is it 5,000 or under? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
So that's kind of like with Judge Judy. It's a limit of 5,000, and she
Cat
pays
defaults
for it.
to Judge Judy right away.
No, it's true because it's small claims court, so it's 5,000.
I would go right to vindictive myself.
Yeah, I would too, and I hate to say it, but I would have
You go,
already.
girl.
Yeah, this person would have already been in trouble. But the other thing about small claims court is you don't need an attorney to do this, right? Is that why it's small claims?
Right. You go and defend yourself,
Yeah.
but you have to bring all the evidence, and you have to show that this woman gave you a dog, and one of the requirements was a well check, and she didn't do that.
Well, here's the problem: is that this is why I'm going to have the unpopular opinion. Is I would say that if you're going to spend this much money on something, you should have had it checked out at the vet
That's
first,
true.
right?
That's
And I
true.
think a lot of people are going to be like, well, that's not the case, but it is. Like you don't buy a $500,000 house without having an inspector go through it, right?
Right.
If you guys have been listening this morning and been wondering why Kat is so happy, glad, cheerful, jolly, it is because of why. Tell everybody.
Why? What do you want me to say?
Tell everybody what we already in the building know about what's going on in your life, what is making you glow.
What are you even talking about?
I know about it. I found out yesterday. I didn't say anything because I wanted you to tell me.
Are you giving me a raise? What is happening?
Tell everybody why you're glowing.
Can you tell me what it rhymes with? Because I'm always happy.
Schmational Shmona Shrey. Kat is glowing because tomorrow is National Donut Day, everybody.
Girl, I'm telling you, I live for one type of donut and one type of donut
I had you,
only.
didn't I?
It has custard in it. And if you think that cream
I think
and
I've had this
custard
before.
I'm sure you have. But if you mistake cream and custard,
Got to get out.
you got to get away from me.
You don't have to go home, but you
You're
got to get
not
the hell up out of
smart
here.
at all. So, oh my God, I'm so excited. Normally I get an alert.
She's glowing.
What the heck is going on?
Tomorrow, National Donut Day. We're all morning long. We're going to give you an opportunity to win a dozen donuts thanks to our friends at Cold Spring Bakery. So all you have to do is be here tomorrow morning. We'll tell you exactly how to win starting at 6 a.m.
Radio Paparazzi.
Oh, so we found out 3 o'clock Eastern time what the verdict is in the Depp Heard case. Here we go.
As against Amber Heard, we, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $10 million. As against Amber Heard, we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $5 million. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. As against John C. Depp II, we, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $2 million. As against John C. Depp II, we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $0.
So boil all this down. Johnny Depp ends up winning this thing by how much money?
I'd say he has to pay out up like between 8 and 9 million, or no, she has to pay between $8 and $9 million. It's basically a wash for him. He has to fork over $2 million.
But that comes off the $10 million she owed.
Right. So there are a bunch of numbers worked in. So she doesn't have to pay the full $15 million. It's broken down to just between $8 and $9 million. But she's only worth $2.5 million. So this is going to be like a bankruptcy situation, or hopefully Aquaman 2 does really well.
I don't think it's going to do that well.
And she gets some money, but it all goes back to him. So she just said this is a big setback for women.
And good for him, because you can't go and just blast somebody in the media. Like this is it.
Yeah.
Now I think part of this should have been you knock $1 million off if he can go to her house and poop in her bed anytime he wants. For the rest of his life.
That's a contingency.
I'd say I'll knock $1 million off if I can poop in your bed whenever I want from here on out.
If someone said that they would give you $1 million to poop in your bed, would you let them?
Oh, for sure.
And just wash the linen?
It's a lot of money. Is $1 million. That's a lot of cheap sheets.
Yeah, there's a price on everything for sure. All right, so by the way, over 4 million people have signed that change.org petition to have Amber removed, but it's already filmed. It's ready to
I don't know if you guys understand how the movie works.
Yeah. In a new interview, Liam Payne from One Direction talking about how he has always had this love-hate relationship with Zayn, the other bandmate.
Zayn had a different upbringing in that sense, and but at the end of the day, once you understand what he's been through to get to that point, and listen, I don't agree with any of his actions. I can't commend some of the things that he's done. I can't be on his side for that. What I can say is I understand. Your only hope is that at some point in their life, the person on the other end of the phone wants to receive the help that you're willing to.
These guys ended up throwing fists a couple of times, right?
Yeah, and I think he's also referring to the violence with Gigi Hadid and Gigi's mom, and it was around the baby, and we haven't heard anything from that since it happened. So
no real fallout.
Yeah. Adam Sandler, he has like one of the best jobs. He looks the way he does, but he gets to kiss every hot chick in Hollywood, including Jennifer Aniston. Have you seen Murder Mystery 1?
No.
It's very good, actually. It was like a Netflix special that he and Jen Aniston did. Now we have Murder Mystery 2 coming. And listen, we can expect a really good kiss because it was ordered.
I do it. Jennifer is one of my closest friends and Jackie's closest friend. So she's like, would you give Jennifer some sort of good time with that kiss, please? What do you do?
We're all suffering right now.
Your wife is like, you have to really make out with Jennifer Aniston. You're like, yeah, it's a horrible life I'm living here.
A lot of people don't know that his wife is in almost every single movie that he does. So if you don't know what her face looks like, look her up and you're like, oh my God, that's his wife. She is in every movie. Blowing out their candles today, Aquafina, funny lady, 34. Justin Long is 44. And another decade, 54, is Andy Cohen. A man who claimed to be retired detective is now offering some safety and survival tips for especially women. If you're going to be posting on your TikTok account or sending selfies to people that you have never met, but maybe you feel like you want to date, look out for these things.
If you're online dating, you send photos to a stranger. You just sent them where you were. So if you're standing on your porch when you took the photo, that could be an issue. A screenshot doesn't have that information. Take a screenshot of the photo, send the screenshot.
Oh.
So it has the metadata.
I didn't
so you want
know
to
that.
make sure, take a picture, take a screenshot of that picture and send the screenshot.
Gotcha.
So sounds like an extra step to go to, but I would rather take that extra step and tell my daughter to take the time to take that extra step to be safe. All right, in sports, Capital One's The Match happened. And did you hear what Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady said in the beginning?
No.
Let's go. Stuff up. It was like they're all mic'd up. They could say whatever they want, and they bleeped it all out. It was very entertaining. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady walked away with the win.
Aaron Rodgers. I think he makes this. I told you, I think one of them will. Oh, my. And he just did. Yes, sir. Oh, my. Let's go, baby.
Love this.
I know. Play this one because The bloopers are my favorite. I can't believe that.
All right, Brady.
Safe one.
Currently close.
Little chunky. I call that a little Josh Allen-y.
Oh my God.
They'll still like the outcome. They'll fix that one post. All right? We'll fix that one post. That's gone in. Oh, God, that's scary. Good job, Tom. I'm trying to tell them, guys, be careful out here. We are professional quarterbacks.
I love the golf vibe. I'm so excited for Liam to start golfing. This summer, I signed him up, and I don't know what it is, just about a golf course. You just feel wealthy, even if you're not. I don't know. You get a Bloody Mary while your kid's golfing. And that's my plan. Yeah, we are going to take a trip back home. And you know how much I get anxiety when I go back home to...
Why?
Like, my youth was weird. I ran with a different crowd, 4 boys, but we all had just like different backgrounds, you know, and one of my friends in particular had a very tragic thing happen to his family. And so he's going to be there. We're going to have kind of like a reunion.
What do you mean tragic? Like what?
His brother died and he was pulled down into a sewer. He was chasing after like this little boat he had made, and it went down into the sewer. And like forever, people are like, oh, you know, he drowned. But we felt like there was more to it. And so we started doing like our own investigation.
How old was he?
I don't know. Maybe he was like 5 or 6. You know, his name was Georgie. And I was like, poor Georgie, you know, he was just trying to find his boat. And the only common denominator with everything that was going wrong in my hometown was like this red balloon. That's why, you know, I hate when our KCLD balloons are red because.
Hold on one second. Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you? Is Kat describing the movie It?
Oh my God, she absolutely is.
I am. How did you even know?
It was the boat. It was the boat.
It was the boat?
Like, oh, yeah.
It wasn't a little kid being pulled into a drain and a red balloon? All right. All right, so we had a message, and she said, listen, I need some help. I love my brother. He's in a sticky spot. We said, don't tell us too much, but the ex is trying to get a hold of the brother and going through a different avenue to do so.
Yeah, set this up for us, Haley. What's all going on?
So he has like a really toxic ex.
Okay.
And to the point where he blocked her on all social media. Just wants nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
And recently she's been contacting me, asking me if I can get my brother to unblock her so that she can tell her something that's important.
Okay. And do you know what would be that important?
She won't tell me. I asked her, it's like, well, why don't you just tell me and I'll let him know.
Yeah, that got suspicious fast, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to, like, have her back in his life. Like, you know what he was like when, you know, they were together or he was trying to shake her from him. Do you really want to put him back in that situation?
I don't believe her, but at the same time, like, well, what if it is something?
Yeah.
And
well, what could it be? Did they have like it's something going on where they could have secrets? Did they have that kind of toxic relationship? Gambling? Did they kill somebody?
No. I highly doubted that. I don't know. I know that she wasn't good enough, or she wasn't good for him, not good enough. I don't know. She wasn't good for him. He wasn't himself during the time that they were together. You know, it was like a bad flu, you know, like COVID or something, like while they were going out together. And
all of this says bad news for this guy. Like I would sit on this. I don't think I'd pass this information along at all. I wouldn't make him aware of this at all.
Ghost her, and if something really serious is about to happen, I feel like any human could find another human, you know?
Right.
Real quick though, what would be one of those serious things? Is it like a death?
I don't know what their relationship was like. Maybe they did some funky stuff and the sister has no idea about, and now it's coming back around and she needs to get a hold of him.
So what would you do? This is somebody from Derek's past And he ended it badly because it was just like a horrible relationship. And she's like, I need to get in touch with him.
I don't want him back in that headspace. I would just say, listen, I'm not going to give you his information. You can tell me what's going on. And I, as the sister, will make the decision whether or not it's important enough to tell my brother.
I don't know if that's your business, though.
She's making it my business by getting old.
Just talked to Haley. If you missed the phone conversation.
We were talking to her about the fact that this woman is reaching out to her. It is her brother's ex. They had a very toxic relationship. He is doing really well now, having her out of his life. But now she has something to tell him. And she needs to get a hold of him. And he changed his number. And she's going through our listener. And she's like, listen, I don't want to let that toxicity back into my brother's life. So what do I do? And I just say, listen, tell me what you're going to say. And if I deem it important enough, I will have him contact you or have him call from the sister's phone. And then she still won't have his number.
Christy already texted in, I would not put her in contact. She should protect her brother at all costs. That's what's important. The ex should tell her if it's actually important.
Yeah.
I don't know about these. Ashley, thoughts on this? What are you thinking?
What if she's pregnant?
Wow. Yeah, I guess that's something you'd want to know about, right?
I put a pretzel in my mouth.
Cat's eating. Hold on, we're going to have to wait for her response on this. But I would definitely, that's something you should definitely pass along. You don't want to be, like, they're going to look back. What if they, maybe they don't end up together, but maybe they co-parent and they become great parents, and now you're a part of this whole thing because you didn't get the message across soon enough, so he wasn't prepared for the baby.
But we didn't hear how long they've been apart. So what if they've been apart for 10 months?
Another thing, what if the girl doesn't want to tell the sister because she wants to tell the brother that she's pregnant herself?
Yeah, there's some things you want to tell personally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't that just be horrible to know that your brother knocked up someone that's super toxic?
My spidey sense says you're absolutely right here. I think I would bank money that this is exactly what it is.
Like, what else could it be? Maybe they did something terrible together and now it's resurfacing like a body.
Or an STD.
Ooh,
yeah, maybe she found out she had an STD and wants to let him know.
And you don't want to tell somebody else that, right?
That's embarrassing.
Oh, funny.
Oh, chlamydia. It's a fickle lady.
Right.
Says Kat. Everybody.
Okay, I have a cold sore.
As people are exiting movie theaters, they're taking special notice of the men who are leaving Top Gun Maverick. And they are noticing a lot of very red eyes.
Are these people that maybe have lived that life?
As a Navy fighter pilot, probably not.
Well, maybe. You never know. Maybe they've lost friends. Maybe they're just men.
Here's the deal. What happens at the end with Maverick is what's making people cry. I'm not going to say what it is. I don't want to ruin it for you.
Does he die?
But people are crying. Men, especially. Men are bawling their eyes out leaving this movie. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk about the last guy cry in your life. Now, if you're a guy, it's the last time you cried. If you're not a guy, it's your chance to expose a guy and the last time they cried. So, for instance, if I was to ask you, Kat, when was the last time Derek cried?
We all know Derek cries all the time, but there's a difference between, I think, getting misty and then crying. I would say the last time he was really moved to tears was this past weekend. We were all on the couch and we were watching Chippendales, the new one. And
the Chippendales Rescue Rangers?
Yes, the new one. It's so well. Adam Sandberg is voicing it.
Andy
Sandberg. Yep. And who does Batman? Will Arnett. It's like the Lego movie, but it's like better. It's super funny. I suggest you watch it with your family. But we were all holding hands and Liam put his hands on mine. I took a picture. Here, I'll show you. And I look up and Derek's just like got the misty eyes and I mouth and he's like, leave me alone. See, look at that. How beautiful that is. I'm going to put it on my Snapchat because it's so beautiful. But he put his hand over ours and he goes, I want to do this all the time, even in high school. I said, I love that.
He's lying to you. He's lying to you. He's lying to you.
Either way, that's how he feels right now. And
that made your husband cry?
Yeah. Sadly, I'm missing a chip. I'm missing something. Yeah. And I feel bad that I'm missing it. need to be more sensitive. I really do. I loved the moment, but I didn't cry about it. You're going to cry?
You're going to cry, baby?
I didn't cry about it.
For me, it was a little bit different. My daughter is graduating this year and going through all these pictures that are going to get posted at her graduation. And my wife and I were going through them, and she was a really competitive dancer up until about 2 years ago. I'm going to probably start crying right now.
I can't look at you if you are going to start, so you got to give me a heads up.
And she tore her labrum, and her hip was all messed up. So basically she had to go in. They had to break her hip in like 4 spots and put these huge screws. They had to rebuild basically her hip.
Yeah.
And it was all from the trauma of being a high kick dancer and everything. And that was the last time she was like a high-end, super competitive athlete. Like, she had her last, like, lacrosse game last night, but she did that for fun. That was with her friends. Like, she'd never had, dreams of going to state and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And as, like, a 7th grader, she was all state. I mean, she was very, very good, and she loved it. She was so heart in it. And you could tell when I take her to practice that she was focused, and this was super important to her. And then we're going through all these pictures, and I'm like, I miss her being, like, a super high-end competitive athlete. And I'm a big believer in it, that it creates character for the battle that you have later in life. That's why I'm so big on sports, because I truly believe that it helps you become a better teammate and more competitive, because life is going to be a competition. So I'm looking at these pictures, and my wife looks at me, she goes, "Are you all right?"
Oh.
I miss her being like on the floor.
Oh.
Like, I was like, oh my God, I was breaking my own heart, and I'm like, what are you doing, old man? Well, you don't
look
need to be
like
crying.
you're going to cry right now. I can't. Don't do it.
Misty. So, guy cry. This is where I want you to call right now. If you're a fella, the last time you cried, because we're not supposed to cry, right? When was the last time you wept? When was the last time your husband was a big baby? You were watching what movie?
We're watching the new Chippendales, and it is so good. If you're looking for a family movie that adults will love and kids will love, like, there are a lot of adult references. Like, if you watch Shrek or whatever, you're like, oh, I get that. But we were watching it. We were on the couch, and everyone had their side, but all of our hands met. And Liam put his little hand over our hands.
Reaching for the dip?
And I look over, and Derek's getting all misty, and just like one tear goes down his little cheek. And I go, "Are you crying? Are you crying?" And he was like, "Shut up. Like, let me live my life." And I'm like, "It's okay. It's all right." It should have been a moment that a mom would get a little emotional, but I was like, meh. It's all right. I loved the moment. I like that we were all connected, but yeah, that was the last time.
1878 said, I cried helplessly at Top Gun Maverick. I'm not even a Tom Cruise fan, and I don't like action movies.
So what are you crying about?
I can't tell. I don't want to ruin it. No, don't be a spoiler here.
You can't text me. You can text and just tell me, because I'm not going to go see it.
Man up a little bit. For me, I'm looking through Reagan's pictures of when she was a dancer, and like a kick dancer, not a stripper. That's still to come, I'm guessing.
Her middle name Mercedes.
I'm like, if this college thing doesn't work out.
She's on her way.
Daddy, a new home. But when was the last time you bawled as a fella? What was it about, Jeff? Cried about what now?
I watched a movie and a dog died the other night.
Oh, no. What movie? So we can ruin it for
Marley?
everyone.
No, it was I Am Legend.
Oh,
yeah.
Right at the end with Will Smith, right?
Yep.
Yeah, all right. Well, at least you admitted it right away. Do you cry a lot, Jeff?
Not too often, but movies get me sometimes.
Right on. I get that. You know what always gets me is Field of Dreams. Every single time the guy gets to have a catch with his dead dad, I bawl. Oh my God. It's going to start right now.
Oh, my God.
All right. Have a good morning, Jeff.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Radio Paparazzi.
All right, so Red Table Talk, that's Jada Pinkett Smith's show on Facebook, right? And she sits there, and she just kind of has guests on, but now it's time for her to tell her side, and she's talking about the Oscar.
Now, about Oscar night, my deepest hope is that these two intelligent, capable men have an opportunity to heal, talk this out, and reconcile. The state of the world today, we need them both, and we all actually need one another more than ever. Until then, Will and I are continuing to do what we have done for the last 28 years, and that's keep figuring out this thing called life together. Thank you for listening.
Hey, I really like what she said there, because in the culture we're in right now, everybody is so quick to cancel and everything like that. Listen to what she says one more time here.
Now, about Oscar night, my deepest hope is that these two intelligent, capable men have an opportunity to heal, talk this out, and reconcile.
This is what I really think people need to hear. It's not shut this person down, cancel them forever.
Right.
It's, hey, they made a mistake. Somebody made a mistake. Maybe both of them made a mistake, whatever the deal was. But do you get a chance to heal? Do you get a chance to talk it out? Do you get a chance to reconcile before everything is an ultimatum?
It's never fun. It's not a fun situation to be like in that hot moment where people are telling the truth. The truth sometimes is scary. But if you can get over that, I mean, how grown up and adult of you to do so.
And I think she's right. The world's a better place with both those guys in it.
Okay. All right. Despite rumors, I always thought that Eric and Julia Roberts never got along. So Julia Roberts is monster superstar. Eric is going back to the day he felt the turn.
It was just when Pretty Woman just got released, and so they're asking a bunch of questions about Julie. And I said, excuse me, can we talk about me? I think I was very funny. Then it's like, oh, they have a problem. Oh, my God, they have a problem. And suddenly all these problems I keep hearing about I have with my sister that I don't have with my sister. We don't agree on a lot of things, my sister and I, but we've always talked, we've always bitched, and we've always had fun knowing each other. Simple as that.
There you go. They know the real truth. Heidi Montag, maybe she's on to something. Have you been having a problem with fertility, trying to get pregnant? She went this route.
So I went on a carnivore-based diet. And in the carnivore-based diet, you basically eliminate vegetables, a lot of fruit, all grains, and you're eating meat. And that does include raw liver. It's expensive.
From the farms and the ranches that you are in contact with, and not like just winging it at the market. I wouldn't advise doing that.
Yeah.
I have a friend that went on the carnivore diet. And listen, the guy wasn't a bodybuilder. He's not huge. He just did it to try and be healthy. He had read a lot about it. The thing you don't hear about is the explosive diarrhea you get after about a week of doing this. Mm-hmm. Your body goes through such changes because it's used to sugars and everything else and grains and stuff like that. Your body expels this at a rapid rate.
Really? It wouldn't really be a difference for me. I go a lot.
Explosive diarrhea, though. Not your regular poopsies here and there. Like, this is, I need to be near a bathroom at all times situation.
Is
for like
it worth
a week.
it, though, to get pregnant? Maybe you want to try it. And then you can easily get off it during your pregnancy.
You know, that kid doesn't clean their room for close to 4 years straight, and you have to beg them to shower. Probably not then.
That was very specific, Nolan. All right, blowing out their candles today. We have Aquafina turning 34. Wentworth Miller, hello, is 50. I cannot believe he's 50. Dana Carvey is 67. And we have a local birthday. Brandy texted, we'd like to wish Bennett a very happy 4th birthday from Mommy and Daddy.
What's trending is my man Post Malone ready to be a daddy.
As a kid, I was like 4 or 5, and I had this little baby I would carry around everywhere. It was a baby doll, and I thought that was the coolest thing. I would take him around everywhere, and I don't know how long that lasted, but my mom still has it.
And he says, because I carried that doll around for so long, I think I'm ready to be a daddy.
Okay.
I went, all right. When my wife and I decided we were about ready to have kids, I didn't really flash back to, hey, I had that G.I. Joe in my pocket for 9 years, and I feel like I'm now ready to be responsible for another human being.
I wonder who thought about that in family consumer science. In 6th grade, I had to take an egg home to show me what parenting is really about. And I'm like, what? Now they have real life robot babies that cry and cry and cry until you figure out why they're crying.
Ours was
crazy.
the egg in the 7th grade, and I can't tell you how few minutes it took until people had that egg and we exited that class. And we were bumping into each other in the hallways trying to smash somebody into a locker so they'd break their egg the first day.
Yeah, but didn't your teacher sign the bottom?
It became, well, yeah, but you were responsible for it. So if I checked somebody into a locker and they broke their egg, they got an F.
Their baby died.
It became a challenge to trip somebody down the stairs so that they would break their egg in my school. Nobody wanted anybody else to be successful. We all just wanted to kill them.
Your younger life sounds just like war.
It was a battle, and you would protect this thing at all costs. It was sheer. Anyway,
what's an egg? All right.
Here's what I want to do. Post Malone says that's like one of the biggest memories of his childhood. Give me something you really, really remember, like a physical thing from your childhood. He remembers carrying that baby around.
I remember going to get a turkey round at Subway after school almost every single day when we lived in Guam.
People are going to talk about things like mine is a blankie.
Yeah,
Post Malone has a doll. You have a Subway sandwich.
It just meant more because, like, I was 3 years older. She was maybe 5. I was 8. And we'd go and we'd share one glass of water and a turkey round. And I think they gave us a deal because they thought maybe we were homeless. But it was right next to our condo where we lived. And we'd get off the bus. I'd have to wake my sister up. She'd have like drool all over. And she was like all sweaty all the time, you know, because it was hot.
Guam.
And I was like, Emma, let's go eat. And we'd split it. And I don't know. It was like I could still taste the mayo. The mayo over there was different. And the crisp green salad that was on top of it. It was just like, I don't know, a really good memory. I like it.
I have long said that women are much, much smarter than men. I would much rather work for a woman than a man. I will take my wife's advice over any other man that I know amongst my friends.
That's good.
And here's the backup proof. Listen to this. Just listen to it with a clear mind. 2/3 of guys think they're healthier than the average man. Now, that's statistically impossible because if you're average, you're in the middle. 2/3 of us think that we're above the middle when it comes to health. Right? Now, 1/3 of the guys are so confident in their own health, they don't get annual physicals.
Not smart.
33% of men think that they are so healthy, they don't need to go see a doctor every year to make sure that they're healthy.
Jeez, Derek goes in for at least 2 prostate exams a year.
He pays for the extra.
Sir, you don't need to. You're not of that age.
I'm here anyways.
No. Let's go.
What, do you got 3 fingers there, Doc? Here, where do they go instead? This is how stupid men are. Most of us that don't go to the doctor, and I do, by the way, every year, they turn to social media for the health advice. They will go to Instagram or Facebook to validate their health.
That's like anybody going to WebMD. Every doctor is going to say don't. I mean, it could lead you down a certain path where you feel like you have questions to ask. But I mean, I WebMD'd this. I thought I had wrist cancer. Wrist cancer is not a thing.
Oh, that was a Bible bump.
It's a Bible bump.
Yep.
I just need someone to smash me with a heavy book. That's
and I'm
it.
in. I volunteered my services with a sledgehammer. She's like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. But I just, listen to this. If there's a man in your life and he's not getting, like, going in, almost every insurance will cover at least a yearly checkup.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's, well, I don't even know what it would cost out of pocket. $200?
$268.76. Evidently, I went to the wrong provider. So
did this with our dentist. We switched providers here at work.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I get a $1,000 dentist bill for my 3 kids. I go, wait, what is this? Oh, well, you don't have the right insurance anymore. I go, great. That's
nice.
great. Thanks for letting us know as our company goes, hey, by the way, we're switching all our providers. Well, does it? I suppose it's probably on me for not looking ahead of time, but like, I didn't know that was a thing. So I guess what I wanted to get across to you today was if there is a guy in your life, make sure he's going to the doctor.
Yeah. Especially females, though, too. Females definitely put ourselves on the back burner. I just always go back to that one story of the mom that had 3 boys, all under the age of 5, and she just never had the time to get in. And then she went in, found out she had cervical cancer, stage 4, died 3 months later. But they would have got it. So
weird.
Weird stuff. Everybody called me weird. I am weird.
You don't think this is a little weird?
No, I don't think it's weird at all.
Weird news.
So if you're a fan of 90 Day Fiancé like myself, we watch it every Sunday. Stephanie Matto, she, for a while there throughout the pandemic, was selling jars of her fart smells, which evidently raked in a ton of cash. Now she has moved on to selling her boob sweat.
Well, do you know why? Remember the fart thing? She was holding them in. And she ended up in the hospital because she was trying to hold in too many farts so she could do them all at once and be more efficient.
Yeah. So she has moved on to a different part of her body, making her money, and that is her boob sweat. But it has been foiled because of nature.
I was outside yesterday. A black bear came onto my property. And so I was pretty much stuck inside all day yesterday, and he wouldn't get out of my yard. So I couldn't go outside and I couldn't work. So it basically shut down my entire business, anywhere between $300 and $500. And I'm trying to really be fair because every single bottle, it varies in the amount.
So
What am I missing here? What I don't
She couldn't go outside to sweat and tan. You could sweat inside.
get a treadmill.
Turn the heat up. Get a treadmill. Make that money,
Do
honey.
some push-ups.
$300 though.
I know. Everybody's individualistic and everybody's their own self and everything like that. But there isn't one thing about any human's boob sweat that does it for me.
Nobody's
especially
boob sweat you'd buy?
No.
Nobody?
No.
Look at me.
No,
Look at
I'm
me,
telling
Elena.
you, not one person do I want your booby sweat or your farts.
Oh, my God.
I know I'm weird like that.
If I had to buy anyone's sweat, it would be Tom Holland, Spider-Man.
Is he even of age yet?
He is 25, 26.
You would buy Tom Holland's sweat?
I would buy his sweat.
Y'all are
He
messed
is
up, man.
cute. Anyway, that is what's weird.
The Playhouse Podcast is made possible thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices. Catch the live show weekdays from 5:30 to 9 on 104.7 KCLD. Now, share this with a friend.